By the time they found him, the room was already soaked in blood. Yang Dae-hyun was on his knees, wrists shaking, breath torn raw from his chest, too broken to beg, too exhausted to run. The men around him were laughing, counting money, deciding how much a body like his was worth. Then the door came down. Knock knock. Not open. Destroyed. Silence followed, thick, lethal, absolute. A man stepped through the wreckage, eyes dark with something far worse than anger. He looked at Dae-hyun once, and in that single glance, Dae-hyun understood two things. He was no longer invisible, and whatever this man wanted, he would never be let go again. Chapter 1. A boy who learns to endure. Goryeo village did not raise children. It consumed them. The houses stood crooked, leaning into one another like tired bodies seeking support. Rusted tin roofs rattled when the wind blew, and the dirt roads turned to sludge after rain, swallowing shoes, pride, and hope alike. People here learned early not to dream too loudly. Dreams attracted disappointment. Yang Dae-hyun was born into that silence. He learned hunger before comfort, pain before safety, and fear before love. The house he lived in had once been beautiful. His mother used to tell him stories, whispered memories of polished floors, warm lights, laughter that echoed down wide hallways. A life where money was not counted coin by coin, and voices were never raised in anger. But Dae-hyun did not remember that house. He remembered the night everything collapsed. He had been too young to understand the words bankruptcy or debt, but he remembered the shouting, the sound of glass shattering, his mother crying softly as she packed clothes with shaking hands, his father standing in the doorway, silent and pale, pride bleeding out of him like an open wound. By the time they arrived in Goryeo village, that man was already gone. What remained was someone else. Someone who drank, someone who gambled, someone whose hands were always clenched, either around money or around Dae-hyun's collar. Dae-hyun learned early not to cry. Crying only made things worse. His mother, Yang Ji-eun, tried to shield him. She worked long hours, returning home with swollen feet and tired eyes, always smiling for him anyway. She brushed his hair gently and told him stories in the dark, her voice soft enough to almost make him believe life could still be kind. Then one rainy evening she didn't come home on time. The accident was simple. A slippery road, a careless driver, a body that never fully healed. From that day on his mother stayed in bed, and Dae-hyun became the adult. He cooked thin soup with too much water. He washed clothes with cracked hands in winter. He learned how to lift his mother without hurting her, how to hide food from his father, how to stay quiet when the door opened too hard. His father began to gamble more. When he lost, he drank. When he drank, he hit. Sometimes it was Dae-hyun. Sometimes it was the wall. Sometimes it was his mother's bed. Dae-hyun stood between them whenever he could, his small body trembling but unmoving. He learned to take blows without making a sound. He learned to bow his head, to apologize even when he did not understand what he had done wrong. "You want to eat?" his father would sneer. "Then earn it." So Dae-hyun worked. At an age when other children learned to read properly, he learned how to carry sacks heavier than himself. His palms grew rough. His back bent early. Bruises bloomed and faded like seasons. Every coin he earned went into his father's hands. Every coin disappeared into gambling dens by nightfall. Still, Dae-hyun endured, because his mother smiled at him, because she whispered, "Just a little longer," because she held his face with trembling fingers and told him he was a good boy, a strong boy, a boy who deserved better. Dae-hyun believed her. He had to. At night, when the house was quiet and his father had not yet returned, Dae-hyun sat on the wooden step outside. He hugged his knees to his chest and stared at the faint lights glowing far beyond the forest. That place was different. People said rich families lived there. Powerful families. Dangerous ones. Men who ruled the city from behind closed doors. Daehyun didn't know what power looked like, but he knew what safety didn't. And sometimes, only sometimes, he imagined what it might feel like to be wanted. Not for money, not for labor, not as something to be hit or sold. Just wanted. He pressed a hand to his chest, where something ached quietly. "I'll endure," he whispered to the night, because endurance was the only thing he had. He didn't know yet that endurance would lead him into darkness far deeper than Guryeong village. Nor did he know that one day, someone would look at him, not with disgust or pity, but with a gaze sharp enough to change everything. For now, he was just a boy who learned to endure. And endurance, he would learn, was the first step towards survival. Chapter 2. Bruises No One Sees. Daehyun learned quickly that growing older did not mean growing safer. It only meant the pain changed shape. His body stretched taller, thinner, all sharp edges and quiet movements. The softness of childhood was replaced by endurance carved into bone. He learned how to stand for hours without complaining, how to smile politely while being spoken down to, how to make himself small enough that people forgot he was there. That was how he survived. Work came in pieces, never steady, never kind. One day it was hauling sacks of grain until his shoulders burned. Another day it was cleaning stalls, scrubbing grime from floors that would never truly be clean. Men twice his size barked orders at him, threw coins at his feet, laughed when he stumbled under weight too heavy for his frame. "You're too weak," they said. "But, cheat." Daehyun bowed every time. "Thank you," he whispered, even when his hands shook. The bruises came quietly. A shove when he worked too slowly. A slap when he looked up instead of down. A kick when someone was in a bad mood and needed an outlet. He learned which injuries could be hidden under long sleeves, and which ones he had to wait out in silence. He learned how to clean blood without leaving stains. How to breathe through pain so no sound escaped his throat. At night he returned home exhausted, pockets nearly empty. His father never asked how his day had been. Only, "Where's the money?" Daehyun placed the coins into his father's palm, head bowed. Every time, his chest tightened, not because of the loss, but because of the hope he had foolishly carried all day. Maybe this time, his father would leave some. Maybe this time, his mother could buy medicine. Maybe this time. The hope died the same way, every night. Still, Daehyun endured. There were moments, small, dangerous ones, when his gentleness betrayed him. Like the time an old woman at the market pressed an extra piece of bread into his hands. He had frozen, unsure whether to refuse. When she smiled and told him to eat well, his eyes burned so badly he had to turn away. Or the way he lingered near shop windows, staring at reflections of warmth, families eating together, laughter spilling out into the street. His chest ached with a longing he did not allow himself to name. He wanted something he had never had. To be protected. To be chosen. To be held without being hurt. At night, when his father was gone, and his mother slept restlessly, Daehyun lay awake beside the thin wall, staring into the dark. He imagined warmth like a weight on his back, not crushing, but steady. A presence that stayed. Someone who would say, "You're safe." The thought frightened him. Dreams like that only led to disappointment. So he buried them deep, under layers of responsibility and silence. One afternoon, while working at a small repair shop, Daehyun felt a gaze linger on him. The owner watched him too closely, eyes following the line of his neck, the way his fingers moved as he cleaned tool. Daehyun noticed. He always noticed. Fear curled low in his stomach, but he kept working, pretending not to see. When the man stepped too close, Dae-hyun stiffened. When a hand brushed his wrist for no reason, his breath caught. "You're a good worker," the man said, voice thick. "You know, there are other ways to earn more." Dae-hyun stepped back quickly, heart pounding. "I'm busy," he said, voice soft but firm. The smile that followed made his skin crawl. That night, as he walked home with his head lowered and his steps quick, Dae-hyun realized something with chilling clarity. Even his body was not his own. Not here. Not in this world. He clenched his fists until his nails bit into his palms. "I won't," he whispered to himself. "I won't let them take that too." It was the first time he thought about leaving. Back home, his mother touched his cheek, worry deep in her eyes. "You're thinner," she said softly. Dae-hyun smiled, the same gentle smile he always wore. "I'm fine." She didn't believe him. She never did. But she was too tired to argue, and he was too afraid to tell her the truth. So he tucked the blanket around her, kissed her forehead, and pretended that everything was bearable. Outside, the lights beyond the forest glimmered faintly. Somewhere far away, there were houses that didn't leak, beds that were warm, hands that touched without hurting. Dae-hyun hugged himself tightly, nails digging into his arms as if to remind himself he was still real. "I don't need it," he told the dog. "I don't need warmth. I don't need love." But his heart, soft, foolish, unbroken despite everything, betrayed him. Because deep down, beneath every bruise no one saw, Dae-hyun still dreamed of being wanted. And that dream, fragile and dangerous, would soon lead him straight into the arms of darkness, and into the gaze of a man who would see every scar he tried to hide. Chapter 3. The Touch That Crossed the Line. Dae-hyun had learned how to endure pain. What he had never learned was how to endure violation. The repair shop was small, tucked between two crumbling buildings near the edge of the market street. Oil stained the floor. The air smelled of metal and rust. It was quiet work, cleaning tools, organizing parts, wiping grease from surfaces that would be dirty again by morning. Quiet was good. Quiet meant no shouting. Quiet meant no fists. Quiet meant he could disappear into the rhythm of his hands. The owner had hired him without much thought. Dae-hyun was cheap, obedient, and grateful. For weeks, the man barely spoke to him beyond orders. Dae-hyun thought he had found something close to safety. He was wrong. It started with eyes, lingering glances that stayed too long, silence that pressed too close. Dae-hyun felt it like a prickle along his spine, an instinct sharpened by years of danger. He adjusted his posture, kept his head down, worked faster. But the eyes did not leave. One afternoon, the shop door was locked early. Dae-hyun noticed immediately. His hands stilled for half a second before he forced them to keep moving. His heart beat too fast, too loud. He told himself not to overreact. He told himself fear was something he imagined too easily. "You work hard," the owner said behind him. Dae-hyun nodded, without turning. "Yes, sir." "You're quiet too. I like that." The words made his stomach twist. Dae-hyun stepped away under the excuse of grabbing a cloth. The man followed. The space between them shrank, the air thick with something sour and wrong. A hand brushed his wrist. It was light, casual, unnecessary. Dae-hyun froze. Every muscle locked as memories crashed through him, hands grabbing, voices sneering, his father's weight, the helplessness of being smaller, weaker, trapped. He pulled his hand back instantly. "I need to finish cleaning," he said, voice trembling despite his effort to steady it. The man smiled. Not kindly, not warmly. "You don't have to be nervous," he said. "Boys like you usually understand." Dae-hyun's breath caught. "No," he said. The word came out sharper than he expected. Louder. The smile faded. The man stepped closer. "Don't be difficult," he said, voice low. "You need money. I can give you more than this job ever will." The hand reached for him again. This time, Dae-hyun moved. He shoved the man away with all the strength he had, heart hammering wildly. The man stumbled back, swore loudly, anger flashing across his face. "You ungrateful little." Dae-hyun didn't wait to hear the rest. He ran. Out the back door. Down the alley. Past trash and puddles and broken glass. His lungs burned, his legs shook, but he didn't stop until the shop was far behind him. When he finally slowed, his vision blurred. His hands were shaking violently. He pressed his back against a wall and slid down, breath coming in sharp, uneven gasps. No. Not again. Not like this. He hugged himself tightly, nails biting into his arms, grounding himself in pain he could control. "I didn't let him," he whispered. "I didn't." But the fear clung to him anyway. He went home early. That was his second mistake. The house was dark, too quiet. Dae-hyun stepped inside carefully, heart sinking even before he heard the familiar sound of something being thrown. His father was already there. "You're back early," young Seok said, voice slurred with drink. "Where's the money?" Dae-hyun swallowed. "I quit," he said. The silence that followed was deadly. "What did you say?" Dae-hyun's hands clenched at his sides. Her, touched me. I want to go back." For a brief moment he thought, hoped, his father might understand. The hope died instantly. Yang Seok laughed. A harsh, ugly sound. "Touched you?" he sneered. "So what?" The words hit harder than any fist. "You think you're special?" his father continued. "You think anyone cares about your feelings?" The first blow came without warning. Dae-hyun's head snapped to the side, stars bursting behind his eyes. He barely had time to gasp before he was shoved to the floor. Fists followed. Kicks. Curses. "You don't quit jobs. You don't get to choose. You exist to earn money." Dae-hyun curled into himself, protecting his head, his ribs, his heart. Pain exploded through him, familiar and relentless. Somewhere through the noise, his mother cried out his name, trying to rise from her bed, her voice weak and broken. "Stop!" Yang Seok stopped only when he was exhausted. He spat on the floor. "Tomorrow you find another job," he said coldly. "If you come home empty-handed again, don't come home at all." The door slammed as he left. Silence followed. Dae-hyun lay there for a long time. His body throbbed. His breath hurt. Something inside him felt hollow. His mother reached him eventually, crawling from her bed, hands shaking as she touched his face. "I'm sorry," she whispered over and over. "I'm so sorry." Dae-hyun opened his eyes slowly. "It's okay," he said automatically. The lie tasted bitter. That night, Dae-hyun sat outside alone. The sky was dark, the air cold against his bruised skin. He hugged his knees, staring at the distant lights beyond the forest, the place that felt impossibly far away. The world he knew was dangerous, but staying was worse. For the first time, the thought settled fully in his chest, not as a wish, not as a dream, but as a decision. "If I stay, I'll disappear." His hands clenched into fists. "I won't endure this," he whispered. "Not forever." Fear still lived in him. So did gentleness. So did longing. But something else had been born that night. Resolve. Even if the world beyond the forest was darker, even if it swallowed him whole, Dae-hyun would leave. And that decision, the quiet, desperate choice to escape, would lead him straight into a life far more dangerous than he could imagine. Into power, into obsession, into the arms of a man whose touch would never be gentle, but would never cross the line without consent. Not again. Chapter 4. Entering the Lion's Den. Dae-hyun left before dawn. There was no farewell, no dramatic escape, just a small bag slung over his shoulder and a body that ached with every step. He did not look back at the house in Gyeonggi village, not at the broken door, not at the window where his mother slept, not at the place that had taught him how to endure pain, but never how to live. If he looked back, he knew he would stop. So he didn't. The forest swallowed him whole. Branches clawed at his clothes. Mud soaked through his shoes. His breath came in short bursts as fear and determination tangled in his chest. Each step away from the village felt wrong, dangerous, but also unbearably light, as if something heavy had been peeled off his skin. When he emerged on the other side, the world changed. The road was paved. The buildings stood tall and clean. Lights glowed softly even in early morning, untouched by flickering bulbs or exposed wires. This was the wealthy district. This was where power lived. Dae-hyun slowed, suddenly aware of how out of place he was. His clothes were worn thin, his hands rough, his posture instinctively bowed. People passed him without looking twice. Cars sleek and quiet, shoes polished, eyes sharp. Here, poverty was invisible, and so was he. He wandered for hours, stomach twisting with hunger and nerves, asking quietly for work where he could. Most didn't bother answering. Some laughed. A few looked at him with thinly veiled disdain. Then he reached the gates. They were tall, black, wrought iron curling like claws toward the sky. Beyond them stood a mansion so large it didn't feel real. Stone walls, manicured gardens, windows dark and reflective like watchful eyes. Dae-hyun stopped. This wasn't just wealth. This was authority. Men in dark suits stood near the entrance, their gazes sharp and assessing. The air felt heavier here, charged with something dangerous and unseen. Dae-hyun swallowed hard. He should turn back. Every instinct screamed at him to leave, but desperation pushed harder than fear. "I'm looking for work," he said softly to one of the guards. The man looked him up and down, eyes lingering on his bruises, his thin frame, his trembling hands. "How old are you?" the guard asked. "Old enough," Dae-hyun replied quietly. There was a pause. Then the gate opened. Inside, the mansion was colder than Dae-hyun expected. Not in temperature, but in feeling. The floors gleamed. The walls were spotless. Everything was perfectly arranged, as if disorder itself was forbidden. The silence was thick, broken only by the sound of footsteps and murmured voices echoing through long corridors. A woman in a tailored uniform handed him cleaning supplies. "You'll work here," she said briskly. "Don't touch anything you're not told to. Don't speak unless spoken to. And never look where you're not allowed." Dae-hyun nodded quickly. Yes. He worked without pause. He scrubbed floors until his arms shook. He wiped surfaces so polished they reflected his own tired eyes back at him. He moved quietly, carefully, afraid that a single mistake would shatter whatever fragile chance he had been given. Everyone here walked with purpose. Everyone here belonged. He did not. The men who passed him carried themselves with an ease that spoke of violence hidden beneath silk and steel. Their conversations were low, coded, dangerous. Dae-hyun kept his head down, heart pounding every time footsteps slowed near him. This was a lion's den, and he was prey. It was while he was cleaning the far hallway that the feeling began. That prickle along his spine. That instinctive tightening in his chest. Someone was watching him. Dae-hyun straightened slowly, fingers tightening around the cloth in his hand. His eyes lifted, not boldly, but just enough to scan the reflection in the polished wall. He saw nothing, yet the sensation did not fade. If anything, it deepened. His pulse quickened, each heartbeat loud in his ears. He forced himself to keep working, but his movements became more careful, more restrained, as if he were suddenly aware of his own body in space. Then, footsteps, unhurried, heavy, uncertain. They stopped behind him. Dae-yoon's breath hit. He turned, and for a moment, the world narrowed to a single point. The man standing there was tall, dressed in black, his presence commanding without effort. His face was sharp and composed, eyes dark and unreadable. There was no warmth in his expression, only quiet authority, the kind that did not need to announce itself. Power clung to him like a shadow. Dae-yoon froze. Instinct told him to bow, to apologize, to make himself smaller. But the man didn't speak. He only looked at him. Not dismissively, not cruelly, but with a gaze that lingered, slow, deliberate, unsettling. As if Dae-yoon were not invisible after all. As if every bruise, every tremor, every quiet act of endurance had been noticed. Dae-yoon felt exposed. His fingers tightened around the cloth, knuckles pale. He forced himself to bow. "I'm sorry if I'm in the way," he murmured. The man said nothing. The silence stretched, heavy and intimate in a way that made Dae-yoon's chest ache. Then, without a word, Lan turned and walked away. The air seemed to rush back into Dae-yoon's lungs all at once. He stood there long after the footsteps faded, heart racing, skin tingling where that gaze had touched him without ever laying a hand. Someone had noticed him. The realization frightened him more than being ignored ever had. Because in that single look, Dae-yoon felt something dangerous stir. Not fear alone, but the unsettling sense that his life had just shifted, that he had stepped into a darkness far deeper than Goryeo village, and that whatever waited for him here had already begun to watch. Chapter 5. Kim Jae-hyun. Dae-yoon did not know the man's name, only that the air felt different after he passed. The mansion returned to its quiet rhythm, footsteps echoing, doors opening and closing softly. But something inside Dae-yoon remained unsettled, like a surface disturbed long after the stone had sunk. He tried to focus on his work. Cloth to marble, water to stain. Breathe in, breathe out. But his hands shook. He had been looked at before, judged, measured, dismissed. That look had never lingered, never stripped him bare without a single word. This one had. By afternoon, whispers followed him down the hall. "That's the eldest. Chairman Kim's first son. Don't get in his way." Dae-yoon listened silently, heart pounding. The eldest. Power settled into the words like a warning. When he finally heard the name, Kim Jae-hyun, it felt heavy in his mouth, even unspoken. They met again that evening. Dae-hyun was wiping down a long dining table when he sensed it, that same tightening at the base of his spine, the instinctive awareness that had never failed him. He straightened slowly. Kim Jae-hyun stood at the far end of the room. Up close, he was more unsettling than Dae-hyun remembered. His features were sharp in a way that felt deliberate, as if even beauty had been honed into a weapon. Dark hair framed a face carved from restraint, lips set in a line that suggested neither cruelty nor kindness, only control. His eyes were the worst part. They were dark, calm, and utterly unreadable. They moved over Dae-hyun without hurry, not lingering on any single detail, yet somehow missing nothing. Bruised knuckles, slight tremor in his hands, the way his shoulders stayed tense, ready for impact. Dae-hyun felt naked. He lowered his gaze immediately, bowing deeply. I'll finish and leave," he said quickly, afraid of being in the way. Jae-hyun didn't respond. Silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating. Dae-hyun waited for dismissal, or anger, or indifference. Instead, "How old are you?" The voice was low, even, not loud, not sharp. It still sent a shiver through Dae-hyun. 18? He answered, after a heartbeat. A pause. "You work quietly." Dae-hyun swallowed. "Yes?" Another pause. Jae-hyun stepped closer, not invading his space, just close enough that Dae-hyun could feel his presence, heavy and undeniable. He smelled faintly of something clean and sharp, nothing like oil or dust or sweat. Dae-hyun's breath hitched despite himself. Jae-hyun's gaze lifted again, this time holding Dae-hyun's face. For a brief, terrifying moment, Dae-hyun wondered if this man could see everything. The nights he went hungry, the hands that hurt him, the way he learned to endure because he had no choice. Something flickered in Jae-hyun's eyes. Too fast to name, too subtle to understand. Then it was gone. "Finish your work," Jae-hyun said. And just like that he turned away. Dae-hyun remained frozen long after Jae-hyun left. His heart was racing, not with fear alone, but with something he didn't recognize. A pull, a tension. The awareness of having been seen not as furniture, not as labor, but as something noticed. It frightened him, because being noticed meant expectation. It meant attention. It meant danger. And yet, as the days passed, Dae-hyun began to feel it constantly. That gaze. Sometimes he caught it in reflections on polished walls. Sometimes he felt it from across the room, during meetings he wasn't meant to overhear. Jae-hyun never spoke to him again, but he was always aware. Watching, observing, assessing. Dae-hyun adjusted his behavior without realizing it. He stood straighter, moved more carefully, worked harder, not because he was afraid of punishment, but because he wanted, inexplicably, to be acceptable. The realization startled him. He had never cared what anyone thought before. Survival had never allowed for vanity. Yet now, under Kim Jae-hyun's silent attention, Dae-hyun felt exposed in a way that made his chest ache. At night, lying in the small staff room, he thought of those eyes, cool, dark, unwavering. He imagined what it would be like to be held in that gaze longer, to be questioned, to be chosen. The thought sent warmth curling low in his stomach, chased immediately by shame. Don't. He turned onto his side, hugging himself tightly. This man was dangerous, untouchable, unreachable. Someone like Kim Jae-hyun did not look at boys like him without reason. Fear and fascination twisted together in Dae-hyun's chest, inseparable now. And somewhere deep inside him, beneath bruises, beneath endurance, beneath restraint, a quiet, dangerous truth took root. Being invisible had kept him alive, but being seen by Kim Jae-hyun might destroy him. Chapter 6. A dangerous kind of kindness. Dae-hyun collapsed without warning. One moment he was standing, cloth in hand, vision swimming, the marble floor stretching endlessly beneath him, and the next, the world tilted violently sideways. Sound drained away, replaced by a distant ringing. His knees buckled. He didn't even feel himself hit the floor. Darkness swallowed him whole. He woke to warmth. Not the stifling heat of fever, nor the dull ache of bruises pressed into cold ground, but something steady, controlled, intentional. Dae-hyun's lashes fluttered. The first thing he noticed was the silence, deep, complete, untouched by the usual sounds of footsteps or murmured voices. The second was the bed, wide, soft, unfamiliar beneath him. He stiffened instantly, panic rising. Where? "You're awake." The voice was low, calm. Too calm. Daehyun turned his head sharply. Kim Jae-hyun sat nearby, jacket removed, sleeves rolled up just enough to expose strong wrists. He was watching Daehyun with the same unreadable gaze as always, but this time, there was something else beneath it. Focus. Assessment. Control. Daehyun tried to sit up. Pain shot through his body, sharp and immediate. A hand landed on his shoulder, not rough, not gentle. Firm. Don't, Jaehyun said. Daehyun froze. Every instinct screamed at him to pull away, to apologize, to shrink. But the hand did not tighten. It did not push. It simply held, anchoring him in place. "You fainted," Jaehyun continued evenly. "You're exhausted." "I'm sorry," Daehyun whispered automatically. "I didn't mean to." "You didn't," Jaehyun interrupted. The words landed heavier than a reprimand. Daehyun swallowed. He lay back slowly, heart racing, eyes darting around the room. It was a guest room, clean, understated, far too elegant for someone like him. A tray sat on the table beside the bed. Food. His stomach twisted painfully at the sight. Jaehyun followed his gaze. "He ate," he said. Daehyun hesitated. I'm not supposed to." That wasn't a suggestion. There was no anger in Jaehyun's voice. No threat. Just certainty. Daehyun's hands trembled as he reached for the tray. He ate slowly, carefully, as if afraid the food might disappear if he moved too quickly. Each bite warmed him, grounded him, reminded him how long it had been since anyone had noticed whether he ate at all. Jaehyun watched the entire time. Not hungrily, not impatiently, attentively. When Daehyun finished, a faint color had returned to his face. Jaehyun stood, moving closer. Daehyun tensed instinctively as Jaehyun reached out and gently pushed back the sleeve of his shirt. Daehyun sucked in a sharp breath. Bruises bloomed across his skin, yellowing, purple, layered in different stages of healing. Old pain. Recent pain. A map of endurance etched into flesh. Jaehyun's fingers hovered just above them. Did not touch. "How long?" he asked quietly. Daehyun's throat tightened. I'm clumsy," he said softly. The lie tasted familiar. Jaehyun's gaze sharpened. "Look at me." Daehyun hesitated, then obeyed. Their eyes met. For the first time, something in Jaehyun's expression cracked, not wide enough to be called emotion, but enough to be unmistakable. Displeasure. Not at Daehyun. At whoever had done this. "You'll rest here tonight," Jaehyun said. "Tomorrow your duties will change." Daehyun blinked. "Change? You'll work fewer hours. You'll eat properly." A pause. "And no one will touch you without permission." The word sent a shiver down Daehyun's spine. Permission. No one had ever spoken that word in relation to him before. I don't need special treatment," Daehyun said quickly. "I can work. I don't want to cause trouble." Jaehyun leaned closer. Not enough to invade his space. Enough to make his presence impossible to ignore. "This isn't kindness," he said calmly. "This is management." Daehyun didn't know whether to feel relieved or afraid. Jaehyun straightened, stepping back. "You'll stay close," he added, "where I can see you." The possessiveness in the words was subtle, but unmistakable. Daehyun nodded, heart pounding. "Yes." Jaehyun turned toward the door, pausing only once. "Sleep," he said. "That's an order." Then, he was gone. Daehyun lay there long after the door closed, staring at the ceiling. His body felt heavy. His heart felt unsteady. The care he had been given wasn't gentle. It hadn't been wrapped in softness or reassurance. It was structured, controlled, blamed. And yet, for the first time in his life, someone had seen his bruises and not blamed him for them. Someone had intervened. Fear curled in his chest, tight and restless. So did something else. Something warm. Something dangerous. Daehyun turned onto his side, fingers curling into the sheets. He didn't know whether Kim Jae-hyun's attention would save him or destroy him. But as sleep finally pulled him under, one truth echoed softly in his mind. Being invisible had kept him alive. But being kept, that was something else entirely. Chapter 7. Jealousy Has a Name. The call came in the early morning. Daehyun was halfway through cleaning the east corridor when his phone vibrated in his pocket. An old device with a cracked screen, usually silent. The unfamiliar number made his chest tighten before he even answered. "Yes," he said quietly. "Yang Daehyun?" a woman's voice asked. "This is Guryong General Hospital. Your mother was brought in last night." The words hollowed him out. He didn't remember bowing, didn't remember hanging up, only that his hands were shaking so badly, he had to grip the edge of the wall to stay upright. His mother. The world narrowed to that single thought. He asked permission to leave, voice barely holding together. The staff member looked uncertain, then nodded. Orders had changed recently. Daehyun was. No, it is now. Outside the gates, he didn't know where to go or how to get there. He stood frozen until a voice spoke behind him. "I'll take you." Daehyun turned. Kim Dae-sung stood there, Jaehyun's younger brother. Where Jaehyun was cold precision, Dae-sung was warmth wrapped in silk. His smile was gentle, his eyes openly concerned. "You look like you're about to collapse again," Dae-sung added softly. Daehyun hesitated. I don't want to trouble." "You're not," Dae-sung said immediately. "Come on." The car ride was quiet. Dae-sung didn't press him with questions. He adjusted the heat when Daehyun shivered, handed him a bottle of water without comment. Small kindnesses, easy, natural, uncalculated. They hurt more than cruelty ever had. At the hospital, Dae-sung paid without hesitation. He spoke to doctors, arranged tests, stayed beside Daehyun while machines beeped and nurses passed. When Daehyun finally saw his mother, small, pale, breathing shallowly, his knees gave out. Dae-sung caught him. The contact was brief, appropriate. "Human. Daehyun cried silently, face buried in his hands. Dae-sung didn't touch him again, didn't intrude, just stayed close enough that Daehyun knew he wasn't alone. For a moment, just a moment, Daehyun felt something dangerous bloom in his chest. Safety. Jaehyun learned that night. He read the report without expression. Daehyun's absence. The hospital. His brother's involvement. Something cold slid into place behind his ribs. When Daehyun returned to the mansion the next evening, exhaustion clung to him like a second skin. His eyes were red, his posture fragile, but there was something else too. Relief. Relief that did not belong to Jaehyun. Jaehyun watched him cross the hall, watched Dae-sung speak quietly to him, hand hovering at Daehyun's elbow, not touching, but close enough. It was enough. "Yang Daehyun." The voice cut cleanly through the space. Daehyun stiffened. "Yes?" he said, turning quickly. Jaehyun approached, gaze sharp, unreadable. He stopped far too close, eyes dropping briefly to Daehyun's tired face. "You've been careless," Jaehyun said coolly. "I'm sorry," Daehyun replied at once. "My mother." "I didn't ask," Jaehyun interrupted. Silence spread outward, drawing attention. Staff slowed. Eyes turned away too deliberately. Jaehyun's hand lifted, fingers closing around Daehyun's wrist. not painfully, but firmly enough to leave no room for resistance. "You forget your place," Jaehyun said quietly. "Because someone showed you kindness?" Daehyun's breath caught. "That's not. I didn't." Jaehyun leaned in, voice low enough that only Daehyun could hear. "Don't mistake convenience for belonging." The words cut deep. Heat rushed to Daehyun's face. Shame burned hot and sudden. He bowed instinctively, pulling his wrist free as if it had burned him. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I won't overstep again." Jaehyun straightened. "Good." That word wasn't spoken, but it hung in the air. "Return to your duties," Jaehyun said coldly, "and stay away from my brother." Daehyun nodded, throat tight, and retreated. Later, alone in his room, Daehyun sat on the edge of the bed, fingers twisting into the fabric of his pants. He didn't understand what he'd done wrong, only that the kindness he'd accepted had been a mistake. And yet, as humiliation settled heavy in his chest, another truth whispered beneath it. Jaehyun hadn't been angry because Daehyun had overstepped. He had been angry because Daehyun had been held, if only briefly, by someone else. The realization scared Daehyun more than the cold words ever could, because jealousy, once named, did not disappear. It only waited. Chapter 8. The First Claim. The mansion changed after nightfall. Lights dimmed into golden shadow. Music murmured through hidden speakers. Men in tailored suits filled the rooms, voices low, laughter sharp at the edges. Power gathered here like a living thing, measured, traded, tested. Daehyun had been told to keep to the walls. He did. He moved quietly, refilling glasses, collecting empty trays, eyes lowered. The weight of the room pressed against his skin, every glance a calculation, every smile a mask. This was not a place for someone like him. That knowledge did not keep him safe. It started with a laugh behind him. "Hey," a man said, too close. "You're new." Daehyun bowed slightly, stepping aside. "Excuse me." A hand blocked his path. Another voice joined in, amused. "Don't be shy. We're just talking." Daehyun felt it immediately, that tightening in his chest, the old warning flaring to life. He tried to move around them, but the space closed in, bodies forming an easy, careless wall. "You clean well," one of them said, eyes dragging over him. "Bet you're obedient too." Heat crept up Daehyun's neck. He swallowed. "I need to return to work," he said softly. A chuckle. A step closer. Someone's fingers brushed the small of his back. It wasn't rough. That made it worse. Daehyun froze. The room seemed to tilt. Sounds dulled. His breath came shallow as memory surged. Hands where they didn't belong, smiles that meant danger, the helplessness of being cornered. "I said," his voice faltered, "please." Then, "Step away." The command cut through the noise like a blade. The air shifted instantly. The men turned. Kim Jae-hyun stood there. He hadn't raised his voice. He hadn't hurried. He was simply there, expression calm, eyes cold, authority settling around him like gravity. The men straightened at once. "We didn't mean." Jae-hyun didn't look at them. His attention was on Dae-hyun. For a heartbeat, the world narrowed to the space between them. Jae-hyun took one step forward and placed his hand on Dae-hyun's back. Not gripping, not gentle, certain. The contact sent a jolt through Dae-hyun's body, sharp and grounding all at once. Jae-hyun's palm was warm through the thin fabric of his shirt, fingers spread just enough to anchor him. "Claim him." "This one," Jae-hyun said evenly, "is not available." Silence fell. No one argued. They didn't need to. The hand on Dae-hyun's back said everything words did not. that he was under protection, under authority, under someone. The men murmured apologies and retreated, their interest evaporating instantly. Jae-hyun did not move his hand. Dae-hyun stood frozen, heart hammering, every nerve awake. He could feel the weight of the room's attention, the unspoken understanding passing between powerful men. He belonged to Kim Jae-hyun. The realization hit him harder than fear ever had. Jae-hyun leaned in slightly, voice low enough for only Dae-hyun to hear. "Breathe," he said. Dae-hyun obeyed. The hand lifted. Just like that, the warmth was gone. Jae-hyun turned away without another word. The gathering continued, as if nothing had happened. Dae-hyun finished his duties on unsteady legs, mind racing. The touch replayed again and again, how controlled it had been, how public, how final. Lam. He didn't know whether it thrilled him or terrified him. Both, perhaps. Later that night, he was summoned. Jae-hyun's office was quiet, lights low. He stood by the window, back turned, the city spread beneath him like a map of conquest. "You're dismissed," Jae-hyun said. Dae-hyun blinked. "Dismissed? You're fired." The word landed like a blow. Did I do something wrong?" Dae-hyun asked, panic slipping into his voice. "I can be more careful, I swear." "That's not the issue," Jae-hyun replied calmly. He turned then, gaze sharp, restrained, far more dangerous than anger. "You don't belong here," Jae-hyun continued. "And if you stay, you'll be noticed again." Dae-hyun's chest tightened painfully. "I'll be careful," he whispered. "I won't draw attention, please." Jae-hyun's jaw tensed. That was the problem. He stepped closer, stopping just short of touching. "This ends tonight," he said quietly. "Pack your things, you'll be paid." Dae-hyun nodded, numb. "Yes." He bowed and left, each step heavy, the echo of that hand on his back burning like a brand. Alone, Jae-hyun remained by the window. He replayed the moment in his mind, the way Dae-hyun had gone still, the instinctive trust as he'd leaned into that touch without thinking. Too dangerous. Attachment bred weakness, and weakness got people killed. Firing him was the only way to sever it, even if it felt like tearing something out of his own chest. In the small room he'd been given, Dae-hyun packed in silence. His fingers shook. He pressed a hand to his back, right where Jae-hyun's palm had been. Flamed, then discarded. Tears burned, but he swallowed them down. He had known better than to believe protection could last. Still, as he stepped into the dark corridor for the last time, one truth echoed softly, painfully, through him. Being claimed had felt like safety, and losing it hurt more than he had ever expected. Chapter 9. Love Comes Too Late. Dae-hyun didn't sleep. He sat on the edge of the narrow bed until dawn bled weakly through the curtains, his packed bag resting at his feet like proof that everything had already ended. The mansion, once terrifying and overwhelming, now felt unbearably quiet, as if it had already forgotten him. By morning he couldn't endure it anymore. He went back. Jae-hyun's office door stood closed, dark wood polished to a mirror sheen. Dae-hyun stood before it, heart hammering so hard it hurt. He bowed, straightened, then bowed again, hands clenched tightly in front of him. When the door finally opened, Jae-hyun stood there as if he had never moved. Perfectly composed, perfectly distant. "What is it?" Jae-hyun asked coolly. Dae-hyun swallowed. "Please," he said, voice trembling despite himself. "Let me stay." Silence followed. "I'll work harder," Dae-hyun rushed on. "I'll stay invisible. I won't speak to anyone. I won't cause trouble. I need this job." Jae-hyun's gaze did not soften. "You've already been noticed," he said. "That won't change." "I can change," Daehyun whispered. For a brief, foolish second, he thought he saw something flicker in Jaehyun's eyes. Then it vanished. This conversation is over, Jaehyun said. You leave today. The words were precise. Final. Daehyun bowed deeply, forehead nearly touching the floor. I understand, he said, even though he didn't. He turned away before his face could betray him, walking down the corridor on legs that barely held him upright. Every step felt like peeling himself away from something warm, something he hadn't realized he'd been clinging to. At the gates, he stopped once. He didn't look back. The city was louder outside the walls. Harsh. Indifferent. Daehyun wandered without direction, the weight of his bag cutting into his shoulder, hunger gnawing at him, now that he had nothing left to distract him. The hours blurred together until the sky darkened again. Then his phone rang. The same unfamiliar number. His chest tightened instantly. Yes, he answered, voice hoarse. There was a pause. Then, I'm sorry, the woman said gently. Your mother passed away this afternoon. The world stopped. Daehyun didn't breathe. He didn't speak. He simply stood there, frozen on the sidewalk as people flowed around him like water around stone. The word broke. Can I see her? Yes, the woman replied softly. You should come as soon as you can. The call ended. Daehyun's hand slipped from the phone. It clattered to the ground, the sound far too loud in his ears. No. He dropped to his knees. The bag slid from his shoulder, forgotten. His hands pressed against the pavement as if he could anchor himself to reality, as if the world might snap back into place if he held it firmly enough. But it didn't. His mother was gone, the one person who had looked at him with warmth, the one reason he had endured, the one voice that had whispered, just a little longer. She was gone. A sound tore out of his chest, raw, broken, unrecognizable. He curled forward, shoulders shaking violently, tears spilling freely now, unchecked and unstoppable. People stared, then looked away. Daehyun didn't notice. Grief swallowed him whole. The hospital room was too clean, too quiet. His mother lay still, hands folded neatly, her face peaceful in a way that felt cruel. Daehyun stood beside the bed for a long time, unable to move, unable to touch her. She looked like she was sleeping. Mama, he whispered. No answer. His knees buckled, and he collapsed beside the bed, clutching the thin blanket as if it were the last thing tethering him to her. I'm here, he choked. I came back. Too late? Love always came too late. Night fell again. Daehyun left the hospital with nothing but his bag and the hollow ache inside his chest. The city lights blurred through his tears, every street unfamiliar, every shadow threatening. He thought of the mansion, of the warmth of food, of a hand placed firmly against his back, of a voice telling him to breathe. It hurt worse than the loss itself, because he had believed, just for a moment, that someone else might choose him, that someone might keep him. He hugged himself tightly as he walked, arms wrapped around his own shaking body. The world had abandoned him. His mother was gone, and Kim Jae-hyun had let him go. Daehyun disappeared into the night, grief pressing him down until breathing felt like work. He didn't know yet that this was not the end, only the moment where everything broke wide open, so something far darker, far more consuming, could begin to claim him in return. Chapter 10. A bodyboard. Daehyun didn't go home. There was nothing left there. He drifted through the city until exhaustion hollowed him out, sleeping in corners of bus stations and beneath overpasses where the lights never quite went dark. Grief pressed on him constantly, heavy, suffocating, until hunger and cold blurred together into something numb. It was his father who found him. Yang Seok looked thinner than Dae-hyun remembered, eyes sharp with desperation rather than drink. When he saw Dae-hyun, relief flickered across his face. Not relief born of love, but of opportunity. "There you are," his father said, grabbing his arm. "I've been looking everywhere." Dae-hyun stiffened. "Let go," he said quietly. Yang Seok laughed. "You don't get to talk back." Dae-hyun tried to pull away. The blow came fast. Pain exploded across his cheek, knocking him to the ground. His father stood over him, breathing hard, fury and greed twisting his features. "Do you know how much trouble you've caused me?" Yang Seok snarled. "Running off like that?" "I don't owe you anything," Dae-hyun said, voice shaking but firm. "She's gone. I'm done." His father's expression changed. Something calculating slid into place. "Oh," Yang Seok said slowly. "You'll pay me back, one way or another." The place they took him to smelled like smoke and cheap alcohol. Dae-hyun was shoved into a small room, the door locking behind him with a final, metallic click. Men he didn't recognize stood nearby, eyes roaming freely, discussing him as if he weren't there at all. "You sure he's worth it? He's pretty enough. He'll learn." Hands grabbed him. Not gently, not asking. Dae-hyun fought, kicked, clawed, screamed. But grief had left him weak, and hunger had stolen his strength. He was thrown to the floor, struck when he resisted, dragged upright only to be shoved down again. "Stop, please." His voice broke. "I'll do anything, just..." Laughter answered him. Something inside Dae-hyun cracked. He stopped struggling. The realization came suddenly and sharply. This was what his father had decided his life was worth. Money, dirt, nothing more. They pushed him to his knees. One of them grabbed his chin, forcing his face up. "Look at us," the man said. "If you're going to be sold, at least be obedient." Dae-hyun's vision blurred. He wasn't crying anymore. He was empty. The door exploded inward. The sound was violent, wood splintering, metal screaming as it tore free from its frame. Shouts erupted. Chairs crashed. Someone screamed in pain. Dae-hyun flinched, curling in on himself instinctively. Then, no. Silence. Heavy. Absolute. Footsteps approached. Slow, controlled, lethal. Dae-hyun lifted his head. Kim Jae-hyun stood in the doorway. His suit was torn at the shoulder. Blood stained his knuckles, dark and wet. His expression was no longer restrained. It was fury sharpened into something terrifyingly calm. For a heartbeat, he only looked at Dae-hyun. Something broke in his eyes. "Who touched him?" Jae-hyun asked softly. No one answered. The next moments blurred, bodies hitting walls, the sound of bones breaking, desperate pleas cut short. Jae-hyun moved with ruthless precision, violence delivered without hesitation or mercy. Yang Seok tried to run. He didn't get far. Jae-hyun grabbed him by the collar and slammed him against the wall, lifting him off the ground with ease. "You sold him," Jae-hyun said quietly. Yang Seok laughed weakly, blood spilling from his mouth. "He's mine." Jae-hyun hit him. Once. Yang Seok crumpled. Jae-hyun turned away without another glance. He crossed the room in 3 steps and dropped to one knee in front of Dae-hyun. "Hands, steady, careful now," touched his shoulders. "You're safe," Jae-hyun said. Dae-hyun stared at him blankly. Safe. The word didn't make sense. Jae-hyun shrugged off his jacket and wrapped it around Dae-hyun, covering him completely, shielding him from every eye, every threat, every memory. "Look at me," Jae-hyun said firmly. Dae-hyun did. The rage in Jae-hyun's eyes was still there, but beneath it burned something deeper, something possessive, something desperate. "I've got you," Jae-hyun said. "No one touches what's mine." The words should have terrified him. Instead, Dae-hyun collapsed forward, fists clutching the front of Jae-hyun's shirt as sobs finally tore free. Violent, broken, unstoppable. Jae-hyun gathered him up without hesitation, lifting him against his chest. Blood stained Dae-hyun's hands. Jae-hyun didn't care. He carried him out without looking back. Outside, the night air was cold and sharp. Jae-hyun placed Dae-hyun into the car himself, seatbelt clicking into place with a finality that felt like a vow. He cupped Dae-hyun's face briefly, thumb brushing away tears with surprising gentleness. "You're not going back," Jae-hyun said. "Ever." Dae-hyun's vision blurred again. "Why?" he whispered. Jae-hyun's jaw tightened. "Because I should have never let you go." The car door shut. As they drove away, Dae-hyun curled into the seat, jacket pulled tight around him, the echo of violence still ringing in his ears. But beneath it, something steadier took hold. Jae-hyun was furious. Jae-hyun was dangerous. Jae-hyun had come for him. And as the city lights streaked past, one truth burned painfully bright in Dae-hyun's chest. He had been bought like property, but he had been taken back like something priceless. Chapter 11. Boundaries and Want. Dae-hyun walked on familiar walls. Not the stench of smoke and fear. Not the echo of laughter that cut like knives. This room was quiet, too quiet, washed in soft light that fell across clean sheets and pale curtains. Safety made his chest tighten. He sat up abruptly, pain flaring across his ribs and shoulders. A sharp gasp escaped him before he could stop it. The door opened at once. Kim Jae-hyun stepped inside. Dae-hyun's vision tunneled. "You!" His voice broke. "Get away from me." Jae-hyun stopped immediately. He didn't step closer, didn't reach out. He simply stood there, hands visible at his sides, posture controlled to the point of rigidity. "Okay," Jae-hyun said calmly. "I won't touch you." The words landed heavier than any order. Dae-hyun's breath came fast and shallow, anger and grief crashing together until he couldn't tell them apart. "You don't get to decide anything anymore," Dae-hyun said hoarsely. "You don't get to look at me like that. You fired me. You left me." Dae-hyun's jaw tightened. "I made a mistake," he said. Dae-hyun laughed, a broken, ugly sound. "My mother died," he whispered. "And then he sold me. Do you know what that feels like?" Jae-hyun didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was lower than Dae-hyun had ever heard it. "I know what it feels like to fail at protecting what matters." Silence stretched between them, tight and electric. Dae-hyun turned his face away, tears burning hot and unwanted. "I don't belong to you," he said. Jae-hyun took one careful step closer, then stopped again, respecting the invisible line Dae-hyun had drawn. "I know," he said. "That's why I'm asking." "Asking what?" Dae-hyun snapped. "To stay," Jae-hyun replied. "Near you, where I can see you, until you decide otherwise." Dae-hyun's chest ached. He wanted to scream, to hit, to collapse. Instead, he nodded once, short, sharp. "Don't touch me," he said. "I won't," Jae-hyun promised. Time passed strangely after that. Jae-hyun stayed, not hovering, not leaving. When Dae-hyun's injuries were cleaned, Jae-hyun asked permission before every movement, before unwrapping bandages, before pressing cloth to skin, before tying clean fabric back into place. "Here," he would ask quietly. Dae-hyun would nod or shake his head. Jae-hyun obeyed every time. The care wasn't gentle. It was meticulous, controlled, and it made Dae-hyun's hands tremble, because no one had ever waited for his consent before. Because restraint, when offered freely, felt more intimate than touch. At night, Jaehyun took the chair by the door. He didn't sleep. Daehyun knew because every time he woke, those dark eyes were open, watching, alert, unblinking. Not hungry, not demanding, guarding. "Stop staring," Daehyun muttered once, turning his face into the pillow. Jaehyun's lips twitched faintly. "Sleep," he said. "I'll be here." The words wrapped around Daehyun's chest like a hand he refused to acknowledge. Anger faded first. Grief lingered longer. Want came last, and frightened him the most. It crept in during quiet moments. When Jaehyun draped a blanket over him without touching skin. When their gazes met for a second too long. When Daehyun caught the way Jaehyun's attention sharpened whenever he shifted in pain. The air between them felt charged, taut as a wire pulled too tight. Unspoken, unacted, undeniable. One night, Daehyun whispered into the dark, "Why didn't you come sooner?" Jaehyun didn't pretend not to hear. "Because I thought distance would keep you safe," he said. "I was wrong." Daehyun swallowed. "Are you going to leave again?" Jaehyun's answer came without hesitation. "No." The certainty in it made Daehyun's chest ache. He turned onto his side, facing Jaehyun for the first time since waking. Their eyes met, the space between them heavy with things neither dared name. "Then stay," Daehyun said quietly. "But don't cross the line." Jaehyun inclined his head. "I won't," he said. "Not without you asking." The promise settled between them, fragile and powerful all at once. Daehyun closed his eyes, exhaustion finally pulling him under. As sleep claimed him, he felt it clearly. The boundaries held, the want remained. And in the space between restraint and desire, something dangerous was learning how to breathe. Chapter 12. The Night He Stays. The night broke him quietly. There was no scream, no sudden collapse, just a slow, relentless unraveling that began with a single thought he could not outrun. She won't wake up. Daehyun lay staring at the ceiling, breath shallow, chest tight, as if something heavy had been placed there while he slept. The room was dim, shadows stretching long and soft. Jaehyun sat in his usual place by the door, still as stone. "Mama used to hum," Daehyun said suddenly. The words startled even him. Jaehyun lifted his gaze. He didn't speak. "When she couldn't sleep," Daehyun continued, voice thin. "She said it helped keep the fear away." His hands curled into the sheets. His vision blurred. "I don't remember the song," he whispered. "I don't remember her voice." The silence that followed was not empty. Jaehyun stood. He crossed the room slowly, deliberately, stopping a careful distance away from the bed. "May I?" he asked. Daehyun didn't ask what he meant. He nodded. Jaehyun sat on the edge of the bed, not touching, not yet. The mattress dipped slightly beneath his weight, grounding, real. Daehyun's breath hitched despite himself. "I'm tired," Daehyun said, the truth spilling out at last. "I'm so tired of being strong." The words shattered something fragile inside him. His shoulders began to shake. He pressed his fist to his mouth, trying to hold it in. But grief did not listen to restraint. It poured out of him in silent sobs, whole body and helpless. Jaehyun moved then. Slowly, carefully. He gathered Daehyun into his arms, not pulling, not claiming, just opening space and letting Daehyun fall forward if he chose. Daehyun chose. He leaned in, forehead resting against Jaehyun's shoulder, fingers clutching the fabric of his shirt like a lifeline. Jaehyun's arms closed around him, not tight, not loose. Certain. They breathed together. Daehyun felt it. The steady rise and fall of Jaehyun's chest. The quiet control of his presence. The way his hands anchored Daehyun without trapping him. Jaehyun did not speak. He did not hush him. He simply stayed. Their foreheads touched. Warm, barely there. Daehyun's tears soaked into Jaehyun's collar, his grip tightening as another wave hit him. Jaehyun's fingers curled slightly into the back of Daehyun's shirt, bunching fabric, holding on as if letting go were not an option. "You're not alone," Jaehyun murmured. The words were low, rough around the edges. They shattered Daehyun completely. He clung harder, breath stuttering, grief finally allowed to exist without punishment. Jaehyun absorbed it all. Every tremor, every broken inhale, unmoving, unyielding. This was not comfort born of softness. It was protection born of resolve. Time blurred. Eventually, Daehyun's sobs quieted into uneven breaths. His body sagged with exhaustion, still pressed close, still held. Jaehyun did not move away. Instead, he shifted carefully, guiding Daehyun down until they lay on the bed together, side by side, fully clothed, foreheads still touching, knees brushing. Close enough to feel each other breathe. Too close to deny what this meant. Daehyun's hand rested against Jaehyun's chest now, fingers curled lightly over his heartbeat. He could feel it, steady, strong, real. "Stay," Daehyun whispered. Jaehyun's answer came instantly. "I am." They didn't kiss. They didn't cross the line. They stayed exactly where they were, suspended in the quiet, in the ache, in the fragile safety of shared warmth. Eventually, sleep claimed Daehyun. Jaehyun remained awake longer, watching the tension slowly ease from Daehyun's face, memorizing the weight of him, the trust implied in every inch of closeness. When he finally closed his eyes, it was with Daehyun still in his arms. Two hearts racing, two bodies unmoving, two men lying fully clothed in the dark, closer than either had ever been to tenderness. And neither of them would ever forget the night he stayed. Chapter 13. Obsession Confessed. Morning came softly. Gray light filtered through the curtains, settling over tangled sheets and quiet breaths. Daehyun woke slowly, warmth pressed along his side, the steady presence of another body grounding him before memory caught up. Jaehyun.oh. They were still close. Too close to be accidental, too natural to be dismissed. Daehyun's hand rested against Jaehyun's chest, fingers curled lightly over fabric, rising and falling with each breath. For a moment, he didn't move. Fear hovered at the edge of his thoughts, not sharp, not panicked, but heavy with consequence. What they had shared last night could not be undone. It had crossed no lines, yet it had changed everything. Jaehyun opened his eyes. Their gazes met. Neither looked away. "You should tell me to move," Jaehyun said quietly. Daehyun didn't. Instead, his fingers tightened slightly, as if confirming that Jaehyun was real. "If I do?" Daehyun asked, voice barely above a whisper. "Will you?" Jaehyun's jaw tightened. "Yes." The answer hurt more than he expected. Daehyun swallowed. His heart began to race, not with panic, but with something dangerously close to hope. "Then, don't," he said. Jaehyun inhaled slowly. He shifted just enough to face Daehyun fully, foreheads nearly touching again, the space between them charged and trembling. "I need you to understand something," Jaehyun said. Daehyun nodded. "I don't want to own you," Jaehyun continued. "I don't want obedience. I don't want gratitude." His voice lowered, stripped of control. "I want you," he said. "Fiercely, completely, but only if you choose me." The words settled deep, heavy, and irrevocable. Daehyun's hands shook. He had been owned before. Used. Sold. This was different. This was terrifying. "You scare me," Daehyun admitted softly. "Because when you look at me like that, I want to stay." Jaehyun didn't interrupt. "I think about you even when I try not to," Dae-hyun continued, breath uneven. When you're not there, it hurts. And when you are, I don't know how to breathe. He laughed weakly, eyes burning. I don't know what this is, but I know I don't want to lose it. Jae-hyun leaned closer, slowly, deliberately, giving Dae-hyun every chance to pull away. Dae-hyun didn't. Their foreheads touched. Breaths mingled. Tell me to stop, Jae-hyun murmured. Dae-hyun closed his eyes. Don't. The kiss came softly. Not rushed, not claiming. Their lips met in a hesitant press, warm and searching, as if both were learning what it meant to touch without fear. Dae-hyun's breath caught. A quiet sound swallowed between them as the kiss deepened. Slow, desperate, consuming in its restraint. Jae-hyun's hand fisted gently in the back of Dae-hyun's shirt, grounding himself. Dae-hyun leaned in, trembling, fingers curling into Jae-hyun's sleeve as if anchoring himself to the moment. The world narrowed. Nothing existed but warmth and breath, and the fragile certainty of being chosen. When they finally parted, foreheads still touching, neither spoke. They didn't need to. Dae-hyun rested his head against Jae-hyun's shoulder, eyes closed, heart racing wildly in his chest. Jae-hyun stayed exactly where he was. The rest of the morning, the rest of the world, faded quietly to black, because some confessions did not need words, and some beginnings were meant to be felt, not explained. Chapter 14. Blood and Protection. The past refused to stay buried. The news came quietly, wrapped in reports and coded messages that passed through the mansion like shadows. Dae-hyun did not hear the name at first, only felt the shift in Jae-hyun's body, the sudden stillness, the way warmth pulled back into something cold and razor-sharp. Young Seok had spoken. He had taken what he knew, names, roots, habits, and sold them to rivals for money he would never live to spend. Dae-hyun understood immediately what that meant. He did not ask Jae-hyun to spare his father. He only asked one thing. Don't let it change you. Jae-hyun didn't answer. The execution was swift. Dae-hyun was not there. He did not need to be. Some endings did not belong to him anymore. When Jae-hyun returned, there was blood on his cuffs, and something darker in his eyes, an absence where restraint usually lived. It's done, Jae-hyun said. Dae-hyun nodded. He did not cry. That grief had already been spent. War followed. Not loud, not public, but vicious and precise. Territory burned. Alliances fractured. Men disappeared. The city trembled beneath quiet violence, and Jae-hyun became something terrifyingly efficient. Too efficient. Days blurred into nights. Jae-hyun slept little, ate less. His hands shook only when he thought no one was watching. The restraint that had once defined him frayed, replaced by a single-minded fury that threatened to consume everything in its path, including himself. Dae-hyun stayed. He did not beg Jae-hyun to stop. He did not demand explanations. He learned the rhythm of this darkness instead, waiting when Jae-hyun disappeared, patching wounds when he returned, pressing water into his hands, grounding him in small, stubborn ways. Sit, Dae-hyun would say quietly. Jae-hyun obeyed. Sometimes, in the dead of night, Jae-hyun would stand by the window, staring at the city like it was an enemy that refused to die. Dae-hyun would come up behind him, not touching unless invited, and speak softly. You're here, he would say. I'm here. It was enough to pull Jae-hyun back, just enough. The final confrontation came without warning. When it ended, Jae-hyun came home bleeding, pale beneath the lights, rage finally spent. He collapsed into a chair, hands shaking openly now, the cost of victory carved deep into his posture. I almost lost it, he admitted hoarsely. I almost became nothing but this. Dae-hyun knelt in front of him. He took Jae-yoon's hands, firmly this time without asking. Jae-yoon let him. You didn't, Dae-hyun said. You came back. Jae-yoon's breath shuddered. Dae-hyun leaned forward, pressing his forehead against Jae-hyun's, grounding him the same way Jae-hyun had once grounded him. I won't let violence be all you are, Dae-hyun whispered. And I won't disappear just because you're afraid. Something broke then. Jae-hyun pulled Dae-hyun into his arms, not possessively, not desperately, but with the relief of someone who had nearly lost himself and found an anchor instead. I choose you, Jae-hyun said into Dae-hyun's hair. Every time. Dae-hyun held him tighter. Outside, the city was quiet again. Inside, blood had been spilled, battles won, lives forever altered. But in that stillness, Dae-hyun understood the truth fully. Jae-hyun's power could destroy worlds. But love was what kept him human. And Dae-hyun would stay. Not as a shield, not as a weakness, but as the one thing violence could never take away. Chapter 15. Shining in darkness. The city did not mourn them when they left. It continued breathing, steel and glass, blood and ambition, unconcerned with who ruled its shadows now. Jae-hyun stood at the edge of it all, coat buttoned, expression calm in the way that came only after storms had passed. Victory had cost him, but it had not hollowed him out. Dae-hyun watched from a few steps behind, a quiet presence Jae-hyun no longer needed to look back for in order to feel. He was there, steady, real, chosen. We won't come back, Jae-hyun said, not as a question. Dae-hyun nodded. I know. The new city waited beyond the horizon. New territory. New power. A place where Jae-hyun's name would spread again, reshaped, sharpened. But this time, not alone. They left before dawn. The car cut through empty roads, the sky slowly bruising into morning. Dae-hyun rested his head against the window, watching darkness peel away, inch by inch. For the first time in his life, leaving did not feel like running. It felt like arrival. The new city was colder, cleaner, sharper. Buildings rose like sentinels, streets humming with quiet potential. This was a place where influence could be rebuilt from the ground up, where Jae-hyun could expand without ghosts clawing at his heels. They moved into a high-rise overlooking the river. No guards inside. No servants watching. Just space. That night, Dae-hyun stood on the balcony, wind tugging at his hair. Lights shimmered below like constellations trapped in glass. Jae-hyun joined him, close but not crowding, their shoulders nearly touching. You don't have to stay, Jae-hyun said quietly. You know that. Dae-hyun turned to him. I'm not here because I owe you, he replied. I'm here because I choose you. Jae-hyun's breath left him slowly, like he'd been holding it for years. Dae-hyun reached out, fingers sliding into Jae-hyun's sleeve, anchoring himself there. Jae-hyun covered his hand, not claiming, not restraining, just meeting him where he stood. Partners, equal in choice, if not in power. Their love did not soften. It was still dark, still intense, still threaded with obsession and vigilance. Jae-hyun remained dangerous. Dae-hyun remained gentle. But gentleness, Dae-hyun had learned, was not weakness, it was survival shaped into strength. Some nights, Jae-hyun would come home carrying the weight of decisions that could end lives. Dae-hyun would be there, steady and unflinching, reminding him with quiet presence that there was something worth returning to. Some mornings, Dae-hyun would wake from old nightmares, breath shallow, heart racing. Jae-hyun would ground him with warmth and certainty, wordless but unwavering. They did not pretend to be light. They did not need to. Because light, when born in darkness, did not erase shadows. It endured them. One evening as the city settled into twilight, Dae-hyun leaned against Jae-hyun at the window, fingers intertwined. "We survive," Daehyun murmured. Jaehyun pressed a kiss to his temple, slow, reverent. "We chose each other," he corrected. Below them, the city glowed, unaware, uninvited. Above them the night stretched wide and endless. In a world built on shadows and blood, they stood together, not saved, not redeemed, but shining. And that was enough.